But I do have some friends who are going to join me up here, so we're going to be good with that. Let me see if I can get this started. Okay, here we go. I love how this has all come together, okay? From yesterday to today, like everything everybody has talked about up here, it's like somebody has masterminded this whole thing together so it all flows well, right? It's perfect. All these shifts that we're making, everything that has happened so far, I'm going to try to kind of bring some of it together and talk to you all about this shift that I have had in my business really just over the last year. And some of you might not know my story. I'm going to share a little bit of it, but I have technically been part of the Juice Plus company for about 9 years. I'd say I've only been part of this mission for probably the last 4, because that's when I decided to actually treat this as a business and stop being selfish and share it with everybody I know. So this shift for me, falling in love with follow-up, has really been over the last year, and Team Z has been a huge part of that, to be honest with you guys. I'll get a little more into it, but my goal here is to help you understand how valuable building relationships is, how valuable it is to follow up with people, and even maybe try to trigger your memory about some of those people that you might need to go back and follow up with. So by starting, I really want to encourage you to think about your story. Okay? Honestly, there are not very many people, I don't think there are very many people who are Jamie Kinsey's who call you up saying, I want what you've got, right? There's not a lot of people out there. I don't have people daily calling me saying, this is what I want. It's a lot of reach outs from us. It's a lot of exposures from us. And, so I want you to think about your story real quickly. And how did you get here today? Or how did you get into this business? Or how did you start taking Juice Plus? Was it one message? Somebody sent you one message and you got it right away, you were all in? Was anybody like that? I know Jamie was. Okay, look at the very few number of hands. They got it right away. Okay, so if you got it right away, then think about somebody else's story. But I really want you to think about who cared enough about you to follow up with you. Okay, how many times did it take them? Did you get it right away? So this is part of my story. The lady on the right here is my sponsor, Joy Kelly. She is Hundreds Club, NMD, and Santa Barbara. And I am so thankful that she was persistent and followed up and called me for 4 months. I had never met the lady, and she called me for 4 months until I finally answered the phone. I never met her, okay? I met her husband at a club industry convention. I was a personal trainer. I managed a fitness center. They were there. I guess they had a Juice Plus booth. I don't even know. But apparently her husband went home and told her, you have to get in touch with this girl no matter what. And so 4 months later, this crazy lady, she would leave me messages, but I never listened. I didn't know what she wanted. She just kept calling. And I remember the day I was standing in the fitness center with a girl who worked for me at the time. She's now a senior sales coordinator on my team. And there's that same number coming up, and I said, I'm going to have to answer this phone so this lady will stop calling me. Yeah. And if any of you know Joy Kelly, that's not exactly how the conversation went, and here I am today. But I can't even imagine, Jaron asked last night, can you imagine what your life would be like if this wasn't part of it? And I don't know. I don't know where I would be today, how different my life would be, and I have no idea why a stranger called me for 4 months, but I'm here today because of it, and I am so thankful that she followed up with me and she cared enough about somebody she didn't even know to do that. And then, the same goes for her. Honestly, Dr. Mitra Ray is Joy's sponsor, and Mitra had to follow up with Joy for 9 months before Joy got it, because Joy was definitely one of those ITC people. So what if Mitra wouldn't have followed up with Joy? Thousands of lives have been changed because Mitra followed up with Joy. Thousands of lives have been changed because Joy followed up with me. And now, right there in the middle is my best friend, somebody I get to do life with every day, and a brand new national marketing director on my team who told me no a couple times. and a couple times over. You know, she was really too cool too. So thankfully, and I know she would stand up here and say, thank God I didn't let her out of that. I followed up with her, and that is why we are all here today. So I want you, as I talk about some of this follow-up stuff, and as you go out and you start to follow up with people, you have to think about your own story, and you have to remember back to, you know what, I didn't get it right away either. Or that person didn't get it right away either, because it's so important to remember. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this, one and dones. Have you ever, raise your hand if you've ever sent somebody a message and they didn't respond and that was it? You didn't ever message back. That was it, a one and done. Raise your hands, I want to see them for real. And if you're not raising your hand, I think you probably are not in our business yet, or you've forgotten, okay? Really, because you guys, I am somehow standing up here as a 50 Club National Marketing Director, and I made this huge mistake. And it's just been in the last year that I've made this shift, so I'm hoping you guys can see it now. I was the master messenger. Truly I was. I could send a lot of messages, but you know what? I sent so many messages, I forgot how I messaged. And now that I've started doing Teamsy, it's just my system that I found, so whatever works for you, and it's making me follow up. Like, these names are coming back up, and I'll see that I sent them a message 5 years ago, and now I'm really embarrassed about it, you know? I mean, and you know, of course what I said, you guys, I'm standing up here, and if you read some of the messages that I sent 5 years ago, you'd probably be embarrassed too. But, you know, it's learning process. So I have had so many one and dones, and I'm trying to fix that now, and it's really, really changing my business. So my encouragement to you is fix it before you do it, okay? Don't ever be one and done with anybody, all right? You guys, I don't know if you've heard the different averages, so maybe you've heard it takes an average of 6 exposures, maybe you've heard it takes an average of 7 exposures, maybe you've heard it takes an average of 8 exposures. I honestly don't know what the real research says. If it really takes 6, 7, or 8 exposures, I don't know. I know I've heard it all, and I know that it takes multiple exposures. It's never, very rarely at one time. I know the follow-up and marketing, social marketing, okay, what we're doing, it's an ongoing process. Always ongoing. We're always reaching back to those people. So as we talk about follow-up here, remember these 6, 7, 8 exposures. Don't ever be somebody's first exposure and not be the one that gets them. And I have a story that I'm going to share about that in a little bit. You don't want to be their first, second, or third exposure if that's not the time they're ready. You have to also be their 4th, 5th, and 6th. Okay, following up with them is so important. And we've talked a little bit about mindset, okay, but I want to get into this really, this whole one and done thing, because most of us have done it. I saw all your hands, and I'm the queen of it in my past. I'm changing it. It's my shift. But why do we do that? You guys give me some reasons why. Why are you one and done? Why did you not respond after they didn't answer your first message?
Took it personal.
You took it personally. That's right. You got your feelings hurt, right? What? You feel rejected? You didn't know what to say? Okay, I'm going to give you some verbiage here.
You made up a story.
Yes, we're going to talk about that, making up stories. Anybody else? Your message wasn't authentic?
This is organized and forgot.
Yeah, you just forgot? Unfortunately, yes. Okay? All right, there's a lot of reasons. Here are some reasons I know that from my team and people that I've talked to why maybe they didn't. They didn't want that person to think they were being pushy. Okay? If you send a message, they don't respond, you drop it, right? No. Okay? People don't want others to think they're being pushy. Also, you don't want somebody to think you're just trying to sell them something. Okay, I get that one too. You actually think they are interested because we've got fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Everybody's interested, okay? We just got to get the information to them. So they're interested, trust me. We have something for everyone, whether it's for their health or for their finances or for their life. They're interested in what we've got. We just have to get the right information to them. So, or like Chris said, maybe you got your feelings hurt. Okay, so you're going to have a little pity party for yourself for a minute. They didn't respond, then you're going to get caught up in that. We're not going to do that though, okay? We don't get our feelings hurt. You're going to go back to your own story and you're going to remember that you didn't get it on the first time either. I didn't answer Joy's phone call for 4 months, but she certainly didn't get her feelings hurt about it. Okay? We're not going to get our feelings hurt at all. What I want you to think about is what message truly, when you do that to somebody, one and done, what message does it really send? Yes, it sends the message that you really don't care. They probably think now that you're just going through all your contacts and you're sending everybody a message and you're going to see who will respond, right? That's what they think. You reached out to them once and they think that you've reached out to everybody in your contacts list and that's it. They're not going to respond because you don't care about them. When you come back around to them, they know. Now they know that you're serious. Now they know that you care. They might just be testing you. They might not be responding on purpose. Okay? They might be seeing if you really do care, if you really do want to help them with what you said you want to help them with. So understand the message that sends. You are not being pushy. We're going to talk about how to follow up as a professional, not as being pushy. Understand the message it sends though if you don't go back, you don't reach back to them. We can never ever be one and done with people because that shows that we don't really care and that is not what we're all about, okay? So, are we being, when we follow up, has any of you ever felt that way, that you don't want to be pushy, that's why you don't go back to it? Yes? I see a lot of heads nodding. Okay, you don't want to be pushy. Okay, so I'm going to give you some verbiage that's working for me. You know, in this shift of really becoming a professional at following up, that you have to, first of all, shift your mindset to understand that you are not being pushy, you are showing you care, and you are being a professional. But here's, I'm going to go through 3 real scenarios with you. I'm going to share some real messages that I have had with people. So the first person, you've had conversations with this person, right? You sent them a message, you asked if they would watch a video, whether it's product or business, and they didn't respond. Raise your hand if that's happened to you. Everybody in the room, okay. Of course, right? It happens to us all. You're going to see this come up a lot, okay? The first thing you're always going to do is just give them the benefit of the doubt. Has anybody ever sent you a message that you forgot to respond to? Yeah, all of us, okay? All of us, that we have not responded to something, okay? Offer grace. We're not going to get our feelings hurt. We're not going to get mad at them for not responding. And we're really going to understand that they have noise too. So, what I mean by noise, I want to talk about this for a second. We all have so much noise in our lives, and not necessarily the sounds. We have some of that too. The busyness of our schedules, and everybody's is different, but what causes distractions in your life? What would be reasons that somebody would message you, and you might read it? Maybe you were walking your dog, and then you read the message, and the dog took a dump, and you had to clean it up. And then you forgot to respond. Or what if, you know, your kids are running down the street and you have to chase them, so by the time you got back you didn't get, maybe you're cooking dinner when you got the message. And whatever it is, there's so many things going on in our lives that create so much noise, and we have to understand that everybody has it. Everybody's life looks different, but we all have noise. So what is yours? I'm going to share some of my noise, like the big chunks that cause noise in my life every day, and there's a lot more. And I want you, when you leave here and when you go to start thinking about who you're going to follow up with, I want you to always remember all the noise that you have and understand that this person has just as much. Okay, even if you think they're not as busy as you, whatever, they have just as much noise in their life. Okay? Here's some of mine. I have a husband. Does anybody have one of those? Yeah? Or a wife. They all cause noise, whatever it is. Okay, so honestly, my husband isn't necessarily home enough to cause a lot of noise, but what he does causes a lot of noise in our lives. Okay, my husband is the head women's basketball coach at the University of Kansas. So along with him comes 15 college girls that like to swim in our pool, and they bring a lot of real noise. But also, you know, it's recruiting trips, it's games, it's booster club events, it's speaking engagements. It's just noise, it's just extra stuff. And a lot of it. I am also homeschooling mom, like Becca said. This is, a very small portion of the curriculum that came in for us last week that somebody has to go through. I don't know who's going to do that because I don't have time for it. I got too much other noise in my life. But somebody's got to go through that. And along with that comes the real noise in my family, which are these two. Some of you know my kids, and you know that they actually do make a lot of noise. And it's usually more like 6 or 8 boys at our house because of the neighborhood that we live in. And it's awesome, but it's noisy and it's busy. And sometimes you just don't get a chance to respond to things that you want to respond to. And we also have 2 dogs and a gecko and a snake. And they depend on me sometimes to help keep them alive. So there's just a little more noise that goes on in our lives with that. I coach and run a youth basketball program, and then I got this noise. These badass people in my life that bring all kinds of noise to my life every day. Okay, so those are just a few of like my big chunk noises that happen in my life every day. So I want you to think about those in your life and understand everybody has it, and there's going to be a lot of other small things in there too. So give people the benefit of the doubt, understand they've got noise going on, and always, always reach back to them because we care about them, and that's what it shows. It shows that we care about them. Okay, so that person that you sent that message to, and they didn't respond, you're understanding that they have noise, right? So you're going to reach out again. And this is something that I would really say, hey, Amy, I know how crazy life is with the kids. I just wanted to make sure you saw my message. I've been thinking about you ever since having the conversation about Charlie's allergies and would love to share this with you. Can we connect on Tuesday after baseball practice? You know what? She didn't respond. Can you believe that? She didn't respond to that? Alice, I know. You know what? But you give them the benefit of the doubt, right? You're not going to get mad. You're going to understand. I understand she's got just as much noise in her life as I have. And then I always give them an out. Okay? I always come back by the 3rd time if they haven't responded, and I give them an out. So it's another reach out. Hey, Amy, sorry we didn't get to connect on Tuesday. Please, this is really important. Please don't hesitate to tell me no on this if you don't think it's a good fit for your family. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all. This is all about you and your family. I'm just the messenger here. When you remove yourself, when you make sure they know that you're not caught up in the outcome, and you're really just trying to get them some information, I always, if they don't respond after a couple times, I always give them an out, and it's a lot of times this: please don't hesitate to tell me no. I just want to make sure you've seen my message. Or please don't hesitate, like I said just right here. So here's what happens, and I have no idea. I need Jared to run me a spreadsheet on this, I think. On the rate of people that actually respond when I use this, it is so high. Okay, trust me guys, I have a lot of messages I've sent that nobody responded to, but when I give them an out, I need to talk to Jared about this. I want to know the numbers. It is a very high percentage of people who will respond when I say that. And it usually says something like this. This is a real response from Amy. Hey girl, don't give up on me. Life is so crazy right now that I haven't even had a chance to look at that video you sent, so I just haven't responded. I want to know more, but just need some time. I trust you. See how healthy, Cash, and Cole, those are my kids are. Life has just been piling up. Okay, she's got a lot of noise, right? We already knew that. Everybody has noise. But she responded. That's the thing, you guys. I want you to understand this. If I had left it at that first message, I sent one message, and she didn't respond. And if I had left it, then that's where it would end. And now we'd go to baseball practice, and it'd be awkward because I know I sent her the message. She knows she never responded. But I'm showing that I truly care. She just hasn't had time to look at it. And to be honest, she probably would have forgotten about it too if I hadn't followed up a second and a third time. So it would have been a one and done message and we would have gone nowhere with it. She's interested. She just hasn't had time. So that's what you have to understand. You send out a lot of messages, and I know people might not respond, but you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. And always, I think when you give them an out, they're going to respond. You're going to see that. Okay, here's number 2. You have had conversations. You actually have somebody who says they are ready, they want to get started, and then they stop responding. Has anybody ever had that? It's crazy, isn't it? Okay, this happens to me too. It's crazy. But we give them the benefit of the doubt, all right? We're not going to get mad. We understand they've got the noise going on. And do not start making up stories, right, Chris? Okay, who said it earlier? Somebody was talking. You're not going to make up stories about what they have going on or why. Or they're not interested anymore, or oh, maybe they really can't afford it after all, or maybe she talked to her husband and now they're just not interested, so I'm going to let it die. Don't make up any stories. It's not your job, okay? It's not our place to make up stories about somebody else's life. It's their own life. They get to tell us what's going on. We're just sharing the message. Don't make up stories, ever, about anybody. Keep those out of your head. Okay, but they didn't respond, right? This is a girl, I was on a Zoom call with her. She was running out the door, so she's like, I'm ready, I'm gonna sign up tonight, right? And then she didn't. And then, she really said she was. So I'm still following up with her, okay? So I reach out again. Hey, Sarah, I'm just checking back in with you. And I say this a lot, okay? I'm really good at what I do. You need to show that you are a professional. Like, you're not just being silly with this little thing and you're not confident in what you're doing. Like, we are professional network marketers. We are helping people get healthy. So it's okay to tell them, I'm really good at what I do, and part of that is being good at follow-up to make sure you know I haven't forgotten about our conversation. So I'm going to continue to follow up with you until we can connect. Okay? Let them know that you didn't forget about them. Even though they're not responding to you anymore, you're not going to give up on them. You're going to continue to follow up. Okay? Do you know what? Sarah didn't even respond after that message. Okay? But I know she's got a lot of noise in her life. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to reach back out, okay? This time with giving her an out. Hey, friend, you are totally ghosting me. Anybody ever had somebody do that to them? Okay, she was ghosting me after we had this awesome conversation. Hey friend, you're totally ghosting me. It's absolutely cool if now isn't the time for you to get started with Juice Plus. Seriously, don't worry about telling me. However, I know how ready you said you were. I mean, she was ready to make these changes with your family, so I'm just trying to be a good friend and follow up. Let me know what you're thinking. Give her the out, okay? Just give them the out. Let them know it's okay. You're not tied to this, the result of this conversation, okay? Here's what she said, and this is really long. I'm not going to read this. I just want to put it up here so you can see the first part of it. But I'm going to tell you again, in my experience, a very high percentage when I come at it that way. Don't hesitate to tell me no. It's fine if now is not your time when they haven't been responding to you. I don't lead with that, but when you send a couple messages and they haven't responded, that's when I give them the out. This is her response. You are a good friend and I suck. And I'm not even going to read the rest, because it's all about the noise in her life, okay? She's a coach, she's a basketball coach, she's got 3 kids, her husband's a superintendent. She's got a lot of noise in her life, and that's all the rest of that message says. I already knew she had a lot of noise in her life. She's just telling me that she still wants to do this, she just hasn't had the time. But if I hadn't followed up, okay, if I had left it as, she didn't respond after I reached back out to her, so I started making up a story that, they don't really want it anymore. She talked to her husband and now they're not going to get it. Whatever it is, okay? Don't do that. Just continue to follow up. Continue to reach out. Okay, this one, now this I really, really love. I'm telling you guys to give them an out, right? I'm telling you to tell people, don't hesitate to tell me no. What do you do if they actually do tell you no? I have a love-hate relationship with this. I want to say I love it when they tell me no, because they drop their guard. Like, it's an immediate, if they tell me now's not the time, then you should see how it just changes the demeanor of the conversation. Maybe if we're standing, if we're talking, or even if it's through messages. When they drop their guard, that is when you build the relationship with them. That is when you show them that you really do care about them. That is when you're not going to be mad at them. You're going to continue to be their friend. Even though they said no thank you, now's not the time. That is the most important time, you guys. Because how many of you and how many of your customers and team members have said no the first time somebody introduced this to you? Or have said no thank you before, and then they've come back around. Okay, so no is never no, understand that. But this is the most important thing. When you're giving them the out and they actually tell you no, that's awesome. You got them to respond, okay? So congratulations on that. They responded. They said they're not ready, but they responded. So this is important, understanding that a no never means no. If they have told you no, I'm telling you guys, now the door is open for them to be comfortable talking to you. Their guard is down. Their defenses are off, and they're going to be real with you, and they will come back. If you continue that conversation, not about Juice Plus, you have a conversation with them about life, they're going to come back and say, eventually, okay, tell me a little bit more about it now, on their terms. So it's okay if they tell you no, and understand that they will come back around. Okay, your response, like I said, your response is absolutely the key to that, though. The key to turning that around, the key to building that relationship. If they tell you, no, thank you, and you don't respond, that's it, your relationship's done, or, you might get a little huffy with them, or get your feelings hurt, or whatever, then they might not come back around. You might never be able to help them. If you truly care about them and you know how much you can help them, then you will continue, when their guard is down, to build the relationship. Just be friends with them, okay? Let them follow you. And here's what else is happening, and I think Jamie's going to talk about some social media stuff too, but if you're messaging, say this is happening through Facebook, okay? If you're messaging somebody, there's so many algorithms right now that people don't see very much of what you do. But if it's people that you're having messages with, they're going to see what you're doing. So now you're having conversations about life. At the same time, they're also able to see what you're doing in your life and in your business and in your health and all of that. So let them watch you while you continue to be their friend, okay? So important. If they tell you no, you love them, okay? Because that is your chance to really show them that you weren't caught up, okay? You told them, I don't care, don't hesitate to tell me no. So when they tell you no, bring it back, okay? Be their friend. Here's where I think the shift has to happen for all of us. And it had to happen for me too. At different points in my business here. So going from thinking that being afraid that people will think you're being pushy, to understanding that it is being professional. Following up with someone is showing that you are a professional. Okay, you are not being pushy at all. If you're not following up with people, then you're not professional at what you're doing. Okay, you might be just a poser right now. And I think if you're here in this room, it's because you want to become a professional. So you have to do follow up. It's so important. The shift from feeling like you're bothering people to really understanding that you're just showing that you care. Okay, you're not bothering people. You're showing them that you care about them. It's bothering them if you send them one message and you're done. One and done's, that's what bothers people, because they think you don't really care. Following up with people is not bothering them. Now, if they tell you, if somebody ever tells you, don't ever talk to me about that again, then you can drop it. Then you continue the life conversation, right? But you are not bothering people, okay? You're caring about them. And then going from this shift of being afraid what somebody's going to think because you're following up with them, to understanding that you are trying to do something for them. Truly coming from your heart in a place of figuring out what is in it for them, helping them see what's in it for them, and you're loving them there, okay? You're not worried about what other people think or what they think because you're still following up with them. You're worried about what's in it for them and truly trying to help them. Because that's what we're all about, is helping people get healthy. So for me, let me tell you, this whole kind of shift for me, from being a master messenger to becoming a master of follow-up, it really has just been over the last year. And I have been, as you heard in the beginning, I've been part of the company for about 9 years. The last 4 years really focused on creating more options for my family, focused on doing this as a business. And when I started, I was the master messenger. And I can go back, you guys, and show you all the one-and-dones that I did. So I hope you can learn from that. And I have truly learned a lot from that. So when I got introduced to TeamZ, and it was basically because I never had a system, I think is why I was bad at follow-up. I didn't feel like people thought I was being pushy, or, that I was afraid of what they would think about me. I just messaged so many people I forgot who all I had messaged, and that was my problem. Okay, so I know it's probably different for everyone, maybe why you've done all those one and dones, but for me that was the problem. I did too many of them, and I forgot who I'd messaged. Okay, so I had to find a system, just like Jade was talking about. Now, to be honest, Joy, Mitra, that's my kind of upline support. That's how I had never seen a binder until she put those pictures up there. So I never had that experience of trying to use that as my system. I just never had one. And you guys have seen a little bit of the noise that's in my life, so it's just total chaos a lot of the time. And so it's easy for me to forget who I've messaged. If I'm gonna block out 15 minutes to sit down and message people, then it's easy for me to forget who, because then the next day I would do the same thing. And I'd message people and never ever follow up. So when I found Team Z, it was a big shift for me. And that might not be what works for you, but it allowed me to actually put in when I wanted to follow up with someone, and it reminds me of the day that I'm supposed to follow up with them. So if I sent them a message 3 days ago, and I'll still forget. Team Z will tell me to follow up with this person, and I'll be like, oh, yes, I sent them a message 3 days ago. Now I get to follow up. And it's awesome. So that works for me. There's also, I'm going to share 2 resources here with you that have really worked for me. This book, I don't know, raise your hand if you've read or listened to this book. Okay, it's kind of, we use a lot of GoPro stuff. This is very much, in the same mindset. It's get over your damn self. And I listen to this when I run, to be honest. So I don't even know how many times I've listened to it now in certain chapters, like over and over. But this has been a great resource for me. And if you're in a place that you're trying to figure out how to get over yourself and get over that feeling pushy, get over that, that part of your mindset, then this is a great place. And then Team Z. So those are 2 resources for me. So I want to really encourage you. And I have, if Alice and Jamie and Heather want to come up here for a minute, I want to encourage you, change the way you approach follow-up, okay? It is so important. I've always heard the fortune is in the follow-up, yet I never put that into action. And I'm telling you now that I'm putting that into action, it is truly changing, because it's allowing me to build relationships with people and let them see how much I really do care. Okay, so change your approach. Understand the importance of it. Remember your own story. Go back to that. When you're reaching out to people, you're following up with people. Remember that or maybe you did, but maybe your upline then, somebody else didn't get it on the first time, or the second, or the third. Okay? Remember the average number of exposures. You want to be their first, maybe you want to be their first exposure, but the most important thing is to be that exposure that gets them. Okay? Might be 6, 7, or 8. Follow-up is the key to building relationships. You guys know we are in a relationship building business. So we can't build relationships if we just one and done people. We have to follow up. That is how you're going to build relationships. That is how you're going to build a business. That is how you're going to change lives, by following up with people, never one and doneing them. I asked these 3 awesome women to come up here because they have great stories. I want to bring this to life for you. Obviously I'm only here because somebody cared enough to follow up with me. And these guys have some great stories as well. Jade was persistent in following up with Alice, and I know that she is so thankful for that. So I'm going to let Alice share her story and why she's so thankful that Jade followed up with her.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that Jade got to go before this, because you guys get to see what kind of energy my team has. She did great, right guys? I was so proud. Like, my teeth were they were dry from smiling so big. So, I had heard about Juice Plus before. My mom sent me to college with Juice Plus, and I think I took 1 capsule every 4 months versus every day for 4 months. So I had an exposure, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how you got it. And so Jade and I were friends in college, and after we graduated, Jade moved to Nashville, and I would go and visit her at her house, and I saw she had Juice Plus on top of her refrigerator. And I was like, what? I didn't know people bought that anymore. I didn't know where it came from. I was like, how did you hear about that? And so she was just taking it at the time. And you guys, I just hope that this inspires you all in the room. I want you to not do what we did, but I also want you to be okay with not doing everything right, because in the long game, it's not about doing it right, it's about sticking with it, being consistent and figuring it out as you go. So, but we didn't do it right. Jade invited me to an event that I did not know was a Juice Plus event, that somehow I planned until I got there. I did not know it was a Juice Plus event. And while I was there learning from Kimberly Wardlow, who's amazing, and she was telling me all these awesome things, I totally got the picture. I thought, this is logical. So afterward, Jade invited me to go get coffee with her, and she sat me down, and she was like, okay, what are you seeing for yourself? And I was like, well, I take a really great multivitamin, so no thanks. And it's way too expensive, so no thanks, because I make $600 a month as a nanny. That's right, 600. And so she was, I could kind of see it, like, didn't feel great on her face, and it was, but she kept on coming to see me. And I wanted to say that she, through building relationship, skillfully found my pain so that she could address it. So we had dinner another night, and I said, you know, I really like Juice Plus, but I can't do it. Can't afford it. She goes, well, some people sign up to do the business and it has to pay for this. And I was like, I'm not doing the business, no way. And shut her down so hard. Well, she kept loving on me. And then what I said is she skillfully addressed my pain. She invited me to a mindset seminar because I think what she saw was I was really stuck in my mindset. I was fine on my health journey. I was fine, not too bad on my finances, but she was like, let's talk about your mindset. And she invited me to that. And it was after multiple exposures that I finally had the really great idea to join a Juice Plus team. And so I'm so grateful she never gave up on me. My life is completely different. My husband and I went from making $1,400 a month together, cumulatively, to, I mean, I was sitting there, she was saying, and Jaren last night, I could cry, like, because we have this healthy, beautiful 3-year-old daughter that honestly, this community gave me the courage to dream of having. And I love her more than anything in the world. And the things that I sometimes watch these incredible women speak about in their lives, I think, man, you know, I really wish that I had known what they knew younger, but now I get to teach that to my daughter from the day she was born, and that is priceless to me. And so I'm forever grateful to Jade and Kimberly for not giving up on me. I didn't even talk about the parts that Kimberly played, which is pretty prominent, but I'm gonna pass the mic.
Yeah, thank you. And I asked Jamie to come up here. You all know that she got it right away, like she was that person, but she has team members. She's a 100 Club NMD standing up here with a huge team, and people that she had to follow up with in order to get to where she's at. So that's why I asked her to share a little bit about following up with people to get them where they are.
Yeah, so this is actually a different perspective because it was just doing general customer care, right? So, you know, just giving them those phone calls before their next shipment goes out. And I remember that kind of being hard at the beginning because I was afraid they were going to tell me they were going to cancel, right? Focusing on what I didn't want. And so though I got really good with making sure they were ready for their next shipments, and I'd hear at these events, like, invite them to the next event that's in your area, and I would do that, and one of those was Casey Schloss. So Casey was at a B&I meeting as a pharmacist, and I was there as a Juice Plus rep, and she played soccer with my two little sisters, and so we kind of reconnected. We started following each other on Facebook, and she became a customer, and she ate just the Orchard and Garden for about a year. And then I had an event. You know, back then we were all starting these new programs with the product, and her and Chris came to learn about a transformation program, and so they added the Vineyard and the Complete Shakes, and they really started even seeing more changes than just on the Orchard and Garden alone. And all along this year process, Casey was passing me referrals. I knew she was a pharmacist, and Chris was too. I knew they made good money. And I didn't want to say it to her, but I had to say it to her. Like, have you ever considered doing what I'm doing? Because you're already doing it. You're passing me referrals. And she would always very sweetly just say, oh, thank you so much. No, I think I'll just pass people your way. And I, okay. And I kept inviting her to events, and randomly, out of the blue, I didn't really know what was going on in her life at that time, but Casey came to, she happened to be working in St. Charles that night, and it just worked, and she got to hear, oh my gosh, I can't even think who it was right now. Who talks about overcoming objection?
Loretta
Coth. And Loretta Coth like forever changed Casey's perspective in her life, and little did I know that Casey was, starting to want to have a family, and she might have even been brand new pregnant, and she was trying to figure a way to be more present at home with Cam, and so she said yes to this business. And so because I followed up and I said that uncomfortable question to somebody I knew, I thought in my head didn't need the money, but I did the activity anyway. She's a 50 Club National Marketing Director on my team, so follow up.
Yeah, and I would say, think if Jamie hadn't, if Casey told her no, so what if she had just let that die? There's a lot of people probably in this room who wouldn't be here today if Jamie wouldn't have continued that follow-up. So just remember, we're paying it forward by following up with people. And I love this. We're going to finish with Heather, because, you guys, this is a true example of something that you don't want to let happen. She had so many exposures to Juice Plus, but nobody ever followed up with her. So don't be, she had a lot of one and done exposures in her life. Like I said, it's good if you're the first, but you want to be the one where they get it. So you have to follow up. So Heather, share with us what you've got.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I first heard about it when I was in graduate school. I left corporate America at 30 to go back and kind of pursue my passion, become a registered dietitian. And that's where I first heard about Juice Plus. And I definitely had the ITC. I was way too cool. I just thought it was a pill, and so I just wrongfully thought it was a vitamin. I have no clue to this day what Katie Crockett, who's here today, shared with me in graduate school about Juice Plus. I just thought, oh, I don't do pills. No, we need to eat food. And that was my attitude. And so literally off and on for 7 years, other people brought up Juice Plus to me, but again, I had no clue, and I wasn't about to let them really tell me anything. In over 7 years, multiple people, I don't even know, I'm gonna guess I probably had 7 exposures in 7 years, if not more, but none of the people in 7 years did I ever have a second follow-up with. I was always a one and done girl. And that really actually, I guess now, looking back, I didn't think about it at the time, probably put a really bad taste in my mouth, because I did feel like, you're just trying to sell me something. You're just trying to get me in because I'm a dietitian, and you think I can do something for you. It was never really about me. And I started working with 2 doctors, and one was a customer. I went to an event, and I ended up signing up under a complete stranger. And it was the speaker that night. And she simply just asked me, do you ever think that you would share this outside of your practice? And as she was talking, I was making a mental list of my family members. We found out it was $50. My husband was with me. I drug him with me that night, and he was like, are you serious? Do it. And now I'm a 32 Club qualified national marketing director that a lot of people missed out on. Oh, why did I say yes to the event? You like this part? Because I was bribed with free complete.
All right, so I think that's a great one to end on. You guys, I just want to really encourage you. I hope this has encouraged you to make the shift to understanding how important follow-up is, to be a professional about it, and to just go back, maybe even go back to all those one-and-dones and say, I'm sorry, I know what I'm doing now, and I really do care about you, because we are not one-and-done company. We want people to know that we care. So thank you so much.